Okay, now we on the air, and it's our TED class. Today it's about education system. It's our favorite topic. In fact, we always speaking about only languages and education system, despite the any topics what we have. So today is a day when we have be when we when we can't when we can uh, be in the topic. So we have a notice on whiteboard by teacher Lee. Always perfect. We have a lot of questions, so it's good. But we don't have questions from Irina.
Where is the whiteboard?
Okay,
Could
let me
you
share
give
the
me a
link.
link?
Yes, link is in this Hangout chat. And Irina, we decided to be very strict on this policy, to have questions before the class.
Sorry, I work every third day, and I have a very limited time for our classes. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes, we know. That's
But
why.
I watched these two videos. Moreover, I read transcripts after those videos because I wanted to understand everything in detail. And I was surprised by the first speaker's language. I think he mispronounced some sounds, and I couldn't understand some of his words. Also, he jumped from one idea to another idea, and for me it was very difficult to understand his speech in a flow, how to say it, don't know. But I like this topic, and I would agree that sometimes school can kill creativity, and I had my personal experience. When I was a child, my teachers were very strict, and they killed our creativity in class. They didn't allow us to think out of the box. And I think it was very common in the former USSR. Don't you agree with me, Ivan?
Oh.
Okay.
You know, I'm here to be opposite with you. You know.
Devil's advocate.
Okay.
And
Perhaps your school were very, how to say, more advantageous compared to my school. When I changed my school when I was 13 years old, my next school was much more greater, how to say, exactly, because quite opposite teachers pushed students to think and think out of the box. And but it was after 1990 when the USSR failed. So perhaps you had another experience, Ivan. But
yes,
my experience was so as it is.
yes, I'm a young person. I learned in modern school. So it was okay. I'm joking, but thank you very much for comment, because you know the language of this. How what is your name? I forgot. Ken Robinson was hard for me. I'm reading the subtitles. I can't get it by speaking. It's but after I turn on the subtitles, it was okay, and I like the humor. And everything, but it's impossible for me just hear it. And about schools, I'm started my education in ordinal school, and it was okay for me. I can't say anything bad about that. But after I'm studied in special school for like I don't know, like private school like that, and it was too much creativity in my point of view. So I cannot blame my teachers about that. Just to answer to your questions, Gerard, tell us about your schools.
I answered one of your questions. I know you don't like creativity. Have you read my answer?
Yes, Yes.
So you said like creativity is only one thing for fine arts, but scientists and engineers need to be creative in order to thrive, to improve our technology.
I know, but I was referring to this speaker of TED because I think he's talking about only short, narrowed terms of creativity. It was like not about solving problem, but about forget about the mess, go dance, have fun, and like that. That's
That's because this conference only it's a part of his theory. It's not. It does. It looks like maybe it looks like it refers only to fine arts or these sort of things. But when he talks about creativity, he talks about also all the meaning, the whole meaning of creativity. So if we want to again invent new things, we need creativity. Albert Einstein needed creativity to make his theory of relativity.
we discussed it once in our previous TED talk when it was a task with a box, candles. What is that? I forgot. To so it was the same about creativity and math and so on, and narrow it. I can't explain how it was. Pramila, tell us about your schools. Does they kill creativity in you?
Well, I went to school in 1985. So that is traditional, basically traditional school. But when I came to US, I went to school here to do some IT classes. I didn't see any difference. At that time, there's no creativity. There's all traditional books we have to follow, and there's lectures, and whether you fail or you pass, but it's all traditional. But now I see my son is in medical school. They follow this learning tool of video. Their all lectures is online. Only they go to school to do their lab work. And I asked him this question for when we had this discussion. Sorry. So he told me that because he also went to school here for did his bachelor, and they have a lot of students, 300, 400 students in each class. But in med school, they have like limited of 125 students. And he told me the video learning is much better learning tool than the traditional class I attended. So when I did, they, like Arina said, that it's only the books. You follow what in the written book, and some students either don't get it, they don't understand, and they just then they get behind. The video one, which I didn't go through with those video in 1985 at all, but my son is med school, he's doing it. So I'm comparing with his, which is our main basic topic, if we revamp our system. And according to him, he said that it's definitely very good learning tool because student in very early age, they can tell what they, if suppose in math, like Khan Academy, the Khan said that if they are behind, they can go back and learn their own. So they can catch up with the class, which I didn't do at all. 1985, there was no video, no online, no computers, nothing. And we have to do whatever our teacher was telling us, and there was no creativity at all. I mean, I might be doing something else. I did science, I did bio major, and because in India there was only 3 subjects at the time. Either you go bachelor in science, or you bachelor in arts, or you bachelor in accounting. That's only 3 areas that we can do. A lot of kids were not into all these 3 areas, but they have to do it. So I'm just comparing today's my son's school to the online video learning tool, which is he's saying is excellent. And my traditional way was only in one way. There's no other alternative. And another thing I did notice at the time, there was a jobs. Jobs are also more concentrated on certain areas. Like Teacher Lee is saying, he did something different in masters, right, Teacher Lee?
What do you mean by something different?
I mean, the something different line means that you did first engineering and nuclear science, right? And what was your second major?
Well, my bachelor's was in electrical engineering, and I knew I would never use that.
Right,
I joined the Navy. In the Navy, I learned nuclear power, so I became a nuclear engineer most of my time. But my master's was in computers and education.
Right.
So not really related to my normal career.
Right. So I'm just saying the traditional classes that we did in back home, there was also criteria after you finish what you're gonna get in the market. So there was only few areas where you do your studies and get some job at that time. Now if I'm comparing with my kids, they are in their college or they're finishing college and both are in med school, then I can see that when they were college, there were so many opportunities these days, and traditional way is still there. They still have teachers teaching the lessons, and online are less in, I would say, high school or in college. But in med school, they change the trend. Everything is online. So
Okay.
as far as creativity, I would say these days we have more creativity. When I went to college, there was nothing like that.
Okay, Abdul, I don't know. Can you speak today or just write in the chat? Please answer. And we have a new participant, Lukman. Hello. Who are you? Can you speak with us? Or just listen?
I think he's in mute.
Yes, look, but I hope he hear me. Ага, twice. Okay. Okay, Lukman, hello. Who are you? Can you talk something?
Where are you from?
Okay, let's forget about it. But if you like to speak, please speak or write something in our chat. And no, let's go directly to the questions. We have a lot of questions, some of them, and let's ignore the questions from Vasant because he is not here. It's my suggestion. This will be motivation for people to visit our classes. So if you did not show yourself, we don't read the questions.
You are hard.
Okay. So we can start from Gerard's questions. And the first one, Gerard, can you read, please?
Okay. What did you want to do when you were a child?
It's a good questions. Who want to start?
I mean, because I think we heard an example that a child wanted to be a fireman, and he said everybody wants to be a fireman when they are a child. But he was a fireman and was successful. So I wanted to be a biologist because I like nature, but eventually I didn't do that. And I think it wouldn't have been a good career because it would have ended up working as a teacher.
So, okay, let's go on. Irina, can you tell us what you?
When I was a child, I wanted to be a vet. I wanted to treat animals, but my mother told me, no, I will never allow you to be a vet, and you should be a doctor. And so I went to a medical school. I have a friend, she is a vet, and I know her from, I guess, 19 1985. And she has 7 dogs. I wrote a composition about her and presented it on our site a long time ago. And I watch her, and now she says me, I don't want to be a vet. I'm tired of being a vet. But when she was a child, she was dreaming about being a vet. And she did everything to be a vet. And I was jealous of her. But now, when she repeats and repeats that she regrets of being a vet, I think if my dreams came true, what would be happen? What would happen? I don't know exactly. We think that we could be great dancers or something like this, but I guess it's not so simple like in the first video when a girl went with her mother to a doctor, and doctor said, no, she doesn't have any problems with education and learning, but she just needs to be a dancer. I don't think that it can be so simple. You can ask your child, who do you want to be? And maybe your son or daughter will tell you, I want to be a dancer. But maybe over the course of time, she or he will tell you, oh no, I made a big mistake. So I don't think that it's so simple.
But for me, vet and medical doctor, it's not so far away. What do you think?
It's far away from my point of view.
Okay. We all know that Teacher Lee always wanted to be a teacher, but when we're not sure when he was a child. Is it true, Teacher Lee?
No, actually, when I was a child, I wanted to be a doctor. In 12th grade, I decided that's a lot of work. Because you have to go to school for another 6 years or longer. And I said, no. So I decided to go to college and major in engineering, just because an engineering degree is good for getting a job when you graduate. I was always thinking about getting a job. The Navy paid for my scholarship for college. So the Navy paid for my college. So when I got out of college, I had to give the Navy 5 years. So the Navy let us look at different areas: jets, ships, surface ships, submarines, marines. We looked at different areas, and I decided that submarines, nuclear submarines, sounded interesting. So that's how I got into the nuclear field. It was really kind of by accident, because the Navy paid for my college, and I just chose the nuclear part of the Navy, and that's how I got my career education. And then when I got out, I got a job with Westinghouse as a nuclear teacher, teaching nuclear professionals, and that's how I got started as being a teacher, a trainer. So kind of by accident.
Okay. So the answer is doctor. Pramila, what about you?
Oh, I wanted to become a dancer. And no, at the time. Oh, no. You pick either doctor or engineer. That's it. There are two things. So then I did bio, but I didn't get in med school at all. So then I did computer science and came in the US still doing computer science. So there is no option at the time to do anything. And I agree with Arena. I mean, how can you look at the child and they can decide what they want to be at age of 5 or 6 or 8 or 7? And kids here, they change their mind all the time. My cousin did computer science. Now he's dentist. Totally different. So he will be happy after becoming a dentist, like Rina was saying. She become a veterinarian, but she's not happy. After becoming dentist, he will be happy or not, I don't know. But choosing a really path that you like or be a professional that you are really into it, I don't know. Maybe how many people are successful in that field, like they choose their career and they're really happy about it, is very less percentage. And I was not one of them. I'm not interested in computer science. I wanted to be a dancer, and I probably still want to be a dancer, but now I'm too old to be a dancer. So
Okay, but do you regret about missing the dancer career?
of course I do.
Okay. Well, honestly, I can't answer for myself. I don't know. I can't remember which profession I eager when I was child. Maybe it's fireman, as Gerard told us, because I see now my boy want to be a fireman, and I have a lot of toys depend related to firemen like that. But I can't remember. And we can read in our chat that Abdul want to be soldier. Abdul, would you like to write us more? Why? But we will read it later. So we can follow next questions. And next question is from Gerard.
Name one thing.
Mhm.
Okay, name one thing that could help to improve the creativity of our children.
As always, good questions.
I like the idea of the video because I remember during my childhood it was a waste of time. A teacher repeating a lesson like a parrot all the time, and the students can lost some things, and it was very boring. Usually boring because not all the teachers are good at giving lectures. So I think it's better. It would be better if they gave the video instead, and they did the homework in class instead.
So for me, it sounds like add some joy to this process, to remove some boring, or like that. Because and for me, it's hard to predict how the small children can watch the video. I think it should work from some age, not from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Irina, what do you think? Can you name one thing which can raise the creativity in our children?
Personally, I use different books with the assignments for my children, and there are a lot of exercises for their creativeness. There are a lot of ways to search the same problem. For example, you should choose which one animal is incorrect in the line. For example, dog, cat, deer, and sorry, a whale. For example, whale, fish. Um, uh, I forgot, but this assignment should push a child to think which animal feeds its child with milk, or perhaps this animal has special special. I don't know how to say. I forgot in English how it sounds. Sorry. So there are a lot of ways to solve the same problem, and I love to talk with my children about these assignments. I don't think that my children will watch long videos like school children can watch them. But my youngest son couldn't understand colors, and he couldn't distinguish different colors. And I tried a lot of games. I explained to him. I showed different subjects of various colors, but I failed to teach him colors. So I used a computer game for teaching him colors, and he played about 3 days, and after that he was perfect with colors. So I think that even little children can benefit from technology.
So your answer is technology, right?
I think that we should find a balance because sometimes technology can't help us with understanding, and I think that parents should give personal example how to behave in one or another situation. Um, so I don't think that every time technology should be used at lessons. Sometimes only teaching explanations and maybe even using body language and personal experiences can help explain materials.
Okay. Pramila, how can you name one thing which you used to?
Well, I would say visualization and observation, kids learn more instead of lectures. If you visualize, they have some model for them, and it's also depend of the which age group you're talking about. So everybody has learning tool in different age group. Like small kids, they like either something to they can play and learn, or at different age, like in middle school, they are nowadays we have so much on online to teach them, and they are more learn when they are interacted with something that they can play with, not only lectures. So I agree with Arena that it should be balanced. So in every age it should be balanced. Some are online activities, some are they have to create something by their own hand or show them some model, then they learn more. That is more creativity, I would say.
Okay, my boys are too small, so if we speaking about our children, so I don't know how exactly I will do that. But for now, my answer is very simple. I trying to don't give them a solution. So I try that they solve problem by themselves. So I can I can answer to their question like that, but don't give them uh, give them solution at all. So they tries to solve something by themselves. It's my way, but I don't know will it work or no. We will see.
Mhm.
Teacher Lee, would you like to add something?
What you're talking about, Ivan, we call that the Socratic method after Socrates. What he did is the way he taught his students was he would teach by asking questions. And he would ask a question, so if they knew that small answer, it would move them toward the answer. And if they still didn't know, he'd ask another question. And by answering these series of small questions, they would eventually find the answer themselves just by answering questions that made them think in a certain direction. So that's kind of what you're saying. Rather than tell them the answer, ask them a question to guide their thinking so that they can figure out the answer themselves.
Yes, good. Lookman, can you speak with us? Can you speak with us? Do you have a mic? Because I see the. Please answer to our questions. But your mic is muted just now. We don't hear. Yes, please unmute your mic and try to speak. Okay, something wrong here. But you can write in the chat. Okay, so it will be text translation. I will read from time to time. Okay, anything else? And we go to the next questions. Gerard, will we answer it to your questions, or your questions was about something different?
What do you mean?
I mean, you write in chat that sometimes the questions can be interpreted in more of one way, and I suppose that we interpret your questions some kind of different.
No, because sometimes when teachers ask something, the solution is not that obvious, because you can think that the question was aimed to another direction. I don't know. I know the example of Irina, but I don't know the animals, the right animals to. You have different categories. You can categorize them in different ways, so the answer can be different.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I just I just saw that your comment is about your questions, not about Irina's questions. So I decided that we understand incorrect your questions.
Okay.
But let's go on. So the last one, Gerard, please.
Aspects of education that were better in the past and the ones that are better now.
It's a precious one, I think.
Yes. So now we have a thing that's very good and very bad at the same time. It's called technology, the internet, namely.
Yes, we have
So,
two things to blame: teachers and technology.
no, because thanks to technology, it's like with our computers we have a window to all sorts of information. Before, when I was a child, I had to go to the library to find information and waste a lot of time. And nowadays, children can connect their computers or tablets and find information at the moment. But on the other hand, they get distracted with this technology. Social networks, silly videos, video games. So it's a weapon of two sides. I don't know the expression in English. I think in English there is an expression. Maybe teacher Lee can tell us.
You mean Facebook or what kind of sites?
I mean, when one thing has two sides, one good and another bad, do you have an expression?
Double-edged sword or two sides. Sometimes we say two sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They're related, but one's good, one's bad. But they're calls from the same. Like technology's the coin, so it may have a good side and a bad side. So yes, which you see depends on how you turn the coin. So double-edged sword or two sides of the same coin.
Okay, thank you.
So it's up to people how we use it. Technology not bad, not good. We can use it in both sides. but I think it's very hard to prevent this distraction. Even not for child, even for me. When I need to find answer in Google, I immediately go to Facebook or something like that. So it's not hard for child, it's for adults. Irina, what do you like in past? What was better? What was better now? What is better now in education? And your mic is muted.
I can't compare because I'm not at school anymore. I can see only that teachers these days can allow students to choose a favorable subject. For example, my eldest son, who is 16 years old, chooses information technology and programming, math, algebra, geometry, how to say in English? Geometry. Mm-hmm. And teachers allow him to miss, for example, history or literature. And I wonder about this because I couldn't miss any subject when I was at school. The best thing that I see these days is online dictionary. Because it's very, very, very helpful. I can find information immediately, and this information is precise. And I don't need to spend time listing paper dictionaries. And I think for me personally, online dictionaries are the best invention.
Yes, but speaking about dictionary, I think that no pain, no gain. Each time when you have to find something in book, you never forget it because it's so hard.
I don't know. I'm not so certain on this subject.
And now you can easily watch it each time when you forget, and you doesn't make you.
Repetition is the clue. For me, it's exactly when teacher Lee tells me, Irina, this in this way, this is in this way, this is in this way. When he tells me the same thing 10 times, I can remember forever. Certainly.
So again, it's two sides of the same coin, and it's again technology, so all the same. As I see. Okay, Pramila, what was the best in the past?
Past was there was not much. I would say today is a lot more. Past when I went to college, it was just traditional lectures, come home, do your homework. There's not much creativity. But these days, kids are doing multitasking. My son doing online, listening to music and writing so many things. And he does multitasking, which I cannot do at all. I have to concentrate only one thing, then I can get it. They do 3 or 4 times at a time, same time. And it amazes me that is creativity too. I mean, they are doing online lectures, they are listening to music, they are writing something, and they're chatting with their friends at the same time. And I get upset, and they get A grade, and then they say, "We still get the A grade. Why you are so upset?" So I think they are really creative these days. And other days, I wasn't able to listen to music anything. Just read the book, go through the notes, do homework, take the exam. And definitely, there's so much information online. I'm writing writing essay for teaching. Like I can, like Arina said, we can see so many vocabularies online now. I mean, for one word, I can see like so many websites, thesaurus, free dictionary, and at the time there was nothing. So I would definitely say these days are much better learning tools than I went to school.
Okay, and Lukman asked us to try once more. Lukman, please talk. Okay, let's don't waste time to that, and next time please come early, and I will help you with mic or anything like that. So today we can only chat with you, and I don't know what to say. Okay, maybe it's not in our chat, and we have a noise from someone. I don't know from who. From okay. Teacher Lee, would you like to add something about good days, or how it's?
Pretty much, I'm like Pramila. The old days, we had no computers, we had no video, all we had was books. So it was books and homework, books and homework. So there was really no way to do a lot of creativity in the past. Today, cell phones, internet, you can ask a student, look up Zeus, look up Jupiter, look up Midas, King Midas, and within 5 minutes, they have the knowledge. No library, no hard searching, it's just instant knowledge. So today, plus YouTube. Show us a video. Boom. YouTube has a video on anything. How do you do this? There's a YouTube video. What is this story? Probably a YouTube video. So today there's just so much more we can do. There's just no comparison.
Yes, I see, but okay, I don't know. I don't have an answer for these questions because I like my past times in school, but it's almost no technologies at that time. But anyway, we communicate too much compared to modern time. We communicate all the time because now everyone look on their cell phones and Facebook and like that. I like that, and I blame the technology for this. And Gerard, please.
I think there's a thing in the past that it was better. I think it was discipline.
So you prefer discipline to creativity?
No, but it's not incompatible. Discipline with creativity they are two different things.
Okay, Teacher Lee.
One thing I did want to say that was better in the past. In the past, because we did not have computers, classrooms were all people talking to each other. So in the past, we had more social behavior. So people, I think, were more tolerant, more well-behaved in dealing with other people. Today, everyone is looking at their cell phone, and they don't talk to other people. So today, people are more selfish, more self-centered. They don't tolerate other people as much because they don't have to interact with them every day like in school. So I think the school in the past taught better social behavior. Today we do not have good social behavior. Donald Trump is an example. We have so many people that hate. I don't like what you said. Well, too bad, you know? Deal with it. So that's one aspect.
Yes, and Abdul tell us in chat that it's hard to use body language when you have cell phone in one hand. Okay, so we answered to all Gerard's questions, and what we have else? We have my questions, and that's all. Do school kill creativity? It's a general topic. Is it a question for us? Let's ask, do schools kill creativity? Gerard, what do you think?
Yes, of course. Of course. We talk about that during the whole class.
Okay, so it's okay. So let's skip it. Okay, my because we don't have an opposition here. Everyone thinks that school kill creativity, but in my point of view, it's good. It's my point of view. It's good to have some discipline like that. So my question is, why we call my mistakes in English as mistakes? Why we don't call it like product of my creativity? It's a question from first video because it was about Shakespeare, not about me, but about Shakespeare and his English, and it was a joke about his father, his English class, and so on. Maybe I rephrased it badly, but I hope everyone sees the video. So why I can invent my own English if it's so good to be creative?
Well, the point in the lecture was that Shakespeare speaks a different English than we speak today. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? So he was making fun of the way he spoke strange or funny. He was being creative, and creative is okay if people can understand you, but he was saying, you're confusing people. They can't understand you. So even though he was being creative, it didn't have value, because if people can't understand your creativity, it doesn't help.
Yes, but I saw that Shakespeare's language differ not from modern language, but from language of that time too. So he invents some new phrases, some idioms like that.
Agreed, agreed. He was very creative, and people liked his plays, I guess. They became very famous, so it worked for him. His mistakes or his being different turned out good.
Okay, Gerard, please.
No, I wanted to say that English must have evolved since Shakespeare. So maybe we wouldn't be able to understand someone speaking English like 4 centuries ago, 4 or 5 centuries ago.
Yes, you're right. And there was a course about Shakespeare's English. I posted something on Loop about that, and they try to recreate the English from Shakespeare's time, and it's hard to understand. it's it's not that English. It's something different. Irina, would you like to answer, or we go on? Pramila, anyone? I know that question is silly, because that's why we can skip it.
Well, he didn't understand the can words. He was he is speaking so fast. Maybe his accent was British. You know, Can video, when the
Yes,
first
yes.
time we watched,
He was
and
British.
yeah, he was so fast, and all the topics were all of a sudden he changed his topic. Like he just did some example in between, but it's so fast. I mean, when Lee wrote the note, when I read his notes, then I really understand. I listen again, then I understand what he's talking about.
Okay.
So yeah, so English speaking or writing, everyone has their own style.
Mhm.
Shakespeare has his own style too, so we didn't understand. That was different. But my writing is bad too. Lee corrects like 15 or 20 mistakes each time I say, or with 30 mistakes, you know. One day I will probably get better.
Okay, Gerard.
Yeah, I only wanted to say that he speaks in received British English, so it's the most common British English.
Okay, and
I,
did you understand it? Did you
yes,
understand?
yes, of course, because I try to listen to TV shows in British English, but there
Okay.
are other British accents that are more difficult.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, for me, I will admit, for me, it's the hard one. When we have an echo from someone. When I stop to understand everything, it's me and the guy is British. it's it's a clue for me. Like that. So we second video was about MOOC services. I don't know how it's pronounced right. Teacher, can you help me? MOOC, is it right? Massive online courses. It's abbreviation. MOOC, but I don't know how to pronounce it right, so well, let it be MOOC. Okay, so there are a lot of them. Coursera, edX, Khan Academy. There are a lot of them. Most of them are free or for small money. So it's looks like a trend for next years. Do you use it already? Do you have certificates from it?
I have a lot of certificates from Coursera courses. I adore Coursera, and I tried a lot of online courses, but I finally stopped on Coursera because it's the most challenging. You need to listen to long lectures. You need to answer difficult questions, and you should produce the writing. And several peers review your works, and you should listen to their critical notes, and some mostly it's unpleasant, but it's very helpful to progress finally. And I adore Coursera, and these days I try to listen to lectures about Buddhism, how to pronounce in English?
Buddhism.
Buddhism. And how to teach English. Very interesting.
Okay, and teacher Lee asked me why I think that it's about MOOC. Is Khan Academy is a MOOC or just a video set of videos? For me, it looks like a MOOC because they have some teachers. The speaker told us about some teachers. He told us about exercises or something like that. So I think it may be online courses like that. But I never tried the Khan Academy, but I like the Coursera too much. I like the other services. And in general, I think that some courses, not all of them, some courses are better than my university gave me when I because it's good because my university was just a local university. It can't afford to invite some professors from from the world, and the MOOC courses can afford it. It's the best of the best, so sometimes it's very good. I like it very much, and I have a lot of certificates too, and cannot stop now. Get more and more. Gerard, do you have experience with such services?
Not really. And what do you do in these MOOC courses? Do you do things related to your field or new things?
Sometimes yes. I take some courses about my IT technology. Some courses about medicine, just because I like this topic. Some courses about Shakespeare, just to improve my English, or like that. So from wide variety of courses. Pramila, have you
Yeah, I
tried?
have lots of online courses like server, networking, SQL language, Cognos language. I did all online. Those are really great. I can do in the evening after work, and I got certificates, all just related to computers or IT programs, and I did all online, and I'm still doing it. And Lee classes I'm doing online too. I didn't meet with him face to face, but still doing writing classes online, which is wonderful. So
I like the variety of topics on these courses. You can learn everything in the world. It's so wonderful.
it is wonderful, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
You do on your time when you have time. It doesn't have to be go in the class. You do after kids are gone or go to bed or after dinner. You can do all those online courses.
I use every free minute for English and for these courses. But I'm, for example, jealous of Gerard, who watches a lot of movies in English. I can't afford myself to do this because my children are very, very noisy. It's impossible to understand fluent speech, but I can catch lectures easily with noise everywhere. Yeah, maybe because I'm a person of science, something like this. I like academic language, and so for me it's so easy to understand.
Yes. Good. So, can we count Loop as a MOOC or not? We have videos, we have teachers, we have exercises.
But we don't have certificates.
We don't have safety. Okay.
That's the problem.
Okay, but some MOOCs don't propose you certificates. It happens too. Well, it's hard question because we are learning online, right? It's online, it's video, it's experience. Looks like a school. So I wasn't sure if it's MOOC or not. And it's massive, you see. There are many people.
Massive.
Only about 15 or 20 active students, I think, so not very massive. But
Yes, and it's wonderful how Coursera, sometimes I see the numbers of Coursera, like thousands and thousands of people did this course and get the certificate, and it sounds good, looks good. So we have only a few minutes, and maybe we have some extra vocabulary or idioms or something. have a lot of notes. I recommend to everyone to read it after at least.
One thing I'll mention about the second video was he used the term flipping the classroom. Flipping. And what that means is normally we learn in class and then we test what we learn at home as homework. In his method, the video is the learning. You do that at home. Then when you come to school, he asks questions and you discuss, and that's when the learning happens. So he's flipped the classroom where homework becomes classwork and classwork becomes homework. So when you hear that term flipping the classroom, that means your learning takes place at home and your testing and your questioning takes place in the classroom. So that's more creative. It makes you think critically. So that was the point of his new system.
But it's interesting, and I had flipped classes in my university like in 1997, maybe someone else. Some lectures, some teachers always tested us and just supposed to read us books or something like that. We never get lectured about something. So it looks like a very old idea for me.
That's just lazy professors that don't want to come to class. They come to class, they start the tape, and then they leave.
Okay, nice. But the idea looks so brilliant, so it's it's hard to think why it's only now we have these flipped classes. Okay, so what else? This. Hello, Abdul. Would you like to say something?
Yes, hello.
It's a few minutes. Okay.
Idea of getting strict.
Abdul, the sound is not clear.
It's lousy.
Yeah, it is. It's mobile phone. That's why you can't hear
Okay.
me.
Okay, so teacher Lee, can you get us some short summary for the end of this class?
Summary?
Okay, we talked about two videos. The first video basically was saying that classrooms or the education system of today kills creativity. And the reason he said that was we teach courses that help prepare you for work and to go to college. And when you're young, when you're a child, when you're creative, you're going to make mistakes. So when you're a child, if you try to be creative and make a mistake, it's okay. People don't care because you're a child. It's okay. You'll make mistakes. So you feel comfortable being creative and making mistakes. But when you grow up and you have to go to work and go to college, you're punished for mistakes. And when you're punished for mistakes, you stop being creative. So he's basically saying that our education system, as you grow up, you learn that mistakes are bad, so you stop risking being creative so you don't make mistakes. The second video was about flipping the classroom. He said basically that when he taught his cousin live, and then when he taught his cousin in a video, his cousin preferred learning from him from his video rather from him in person. Because in the video, he could stop the video, replay the video, and he could learn self-paced. He could learn at his own speed. So that taught that guy that video is a better way to learn because students can watch the video over and over and master the material. A fast student might watch the video once. A slow student might watch the video 3 times. But at the end, both students mastered the material. So he made the video become the homework. Watch it at home 1 time, 2 times, 5 times. Take your time and learn. And then in classroom, we have the questions, the self-assessment. What does this mean? What did you learn? So he flipped the classroom, and that was the point of the second video. And he found that was a better education system for mastery.
Yes. Very, very good. So, welcome tomorrow for our paradox class. Bring your favorite paradoxes to us, explain it to us, and let's discuss it. That's all for now. Thank you very much for visiting.
Thank you
Thank
very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.